Hey folks, man, this is Cory, and we're back with another Classics of Cinematics. It's just a show about classic films, man. Me and Bob, we get on here, each episode to talk about the films that shaped and warped our childhoods. You know what I'm saying?
In the best and the worst ways possible.
And today is no exception, man. It's Christmas time, so we're getting into the Christmas spirit, and we've got a film from 1984 called Gremlins. You know what I'm saying? And this is a great film, dude. This is a film directed by Joe Dante, who also did Goonies, if I'm correct, right? Yeah. And so let me give you the synopsis. A gadget salesman is looking for a special gift for his son and finds one at a store in Chinatown. The shopkeeper is reluctant to sell him the mogwai, but sells it to him with the warning to never expose him to bright light, water, or feed him after midnight. And I do want to point out that the synopsis is a little wrong. It's not the shop owner. His son goes behind his back and sells the mogwai to the son.
Says there's no price. He was like, great responsibility is, there's no price. I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah, I mean, the son knows they need money, so he goes behind his back and sells it to him anyway. So all of this happens and the result is a gang of gremlins that decide to tear up the town on Christmas Eve. And this is a dope film, man. I think you were telling me earlier that Steven Spielberg helped produce this.
Yeah, I think this one and the one Indiana Jones film was like running parallel. When he had his hands in both of those. That's why if you notice at the very beginning of this one, when it shows the town, it shows that billboard for the radio show. It looks like the Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a lot of cool Easter eggs. And this cast is great too. So we got Zach Galligan who plays Billy. He's the kid that receives the mogwai gift. We got Phoebe Cates in here. Since Joe Dante, I think he has a small role as one of the characters in here, like maybe a cameo. Get Corey Feldman, young Corey Feldman, Dick Miller, you know what I'm saying? He's a cool character in the town. Hoyt Axton, who plays Billy's dad, Randall, and he's awesome, man. He's definitely. It makes me wonder because he's a straight up John Candy lookalike. It makes me wonder how this would have turned out if they got John Candy in this role instead of him.
And the thing of it is I want to say if I heard correctly when I was watching the special features, he wasn't an actor before this. He was like a singer. Like this was like his only role. And a lot of his scenes in this he like improvised. They were like, yo, just do what you do. Just you have to make sure you hit these key points. But other than that, they just kind of gave him free reins.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. So we also get Kai Luke as Mr. Wing. It's funny because I never knew he had a name up until this point, and I think he's the guy that sells the mogwai to Billy's dad. And I also want to point out Howie Mandel does the voice of Gizmo, who is the mogwai that we get from the small shop in Chinatown,
which is amazing because I've seen this movie 1,000 times, but I've never did just broke down the cast. I never knew up until taking notes for this particular show that Howie Mandel was the voice of Gizmo.
Also, I want to point out too, we got Glynn Turman in this, as well as Jonathan Banks, who's Gus from Breaking Bad. He's one of the cops that they keep trying to convince that something's going. And, so all right, before we get into this, the other parallels. So in this film by Joe Dante, we've got a guy calling the cops. Yo, there's these gremlins running around. So then think about later in Goonies when Chump he calls the cops. It's like, remember that time? They're not believing him. Remember that time you told us there was a bunch of little green men running around? So that's kind of cool to throw that Easter egg in there. And that kind of lets you know that these things are connected in that way, these productions.
And before we dive into this too, also I found out when I was looking into this that they actually, the word mogwai, which is what they call, I guess the species of what Gizmo is, it's a Cantonese word that has the meaning for monster, evil spirit, devil, or demon. So when the dude actually wrote this movie, the script for this movie before Spielberg got his hands on it, that's where he found this word, and that's why he used it, in the way that he did. And actually in the original script too, there was no Gizmo. All of the gremlins were bad, and they create this mayhem. And so, kudos to Spielberg
but that makes sense. Think about it. Would you have picked this thing up if you were in the store and all he had to do was say, what does mogwai mean? Like demon, devil, spirit. I'm like,
evil spirit, a bunch of them that cause mayhem and wreckage.
I don't know if I want to see that. But yeah, so all right, let's get into it, man. One thing I do want to point out that you know, a lot of controversy, but this is a Christmas film, man.
It is a Christmas
on so
movie.
many levels. You know, yeah, it is a kind of a Christmas horror in a way, but it's a Christmas film, like through and through. Like you know, we start off with this town. You know, the dad, he's buying a Christmas for Brett. That's the very first thing he's doing. He's trying to
Everyone
buy
has a Christmas tree in their house.
Yeah, there's Christmas trees. The town, when you sweep in, when we finally, after he buys the mogwai, we're coming into the town. It's all in Christmas mode. Everyone's putting up decorations. And even some of the other themes that we got from previous Christmas films, man, it seems like this town is kind of depressed in a way too. Yes. Like everyone's struggling. You know, people are getting laid off. We meet the evil lady from the bank,
Miss Deagle,
who doesn't even care. Yo, that's the craziest part to me. Like that when we meet her, she's walking down the street, and that woman, you know, was coming to the bank. She's like, yeah, you know, my husband just finally got a job again. I'm doing side work. Can we get a little bit more time? We'll have some money in about 2 weeks. And she's just straight. She's the Scrooge in here.
Evil.
Like
she walks up and walks to the bank. That she comes back and she was like, you know, now you know what to ask for Christmas.
Yeah,
like,
you know what to ask
for money for the rent. I was like,
in front of the kids.
Evil woman.
Yeah, it was so messed up, man. But yeah, so yeah, that's going on. Also, the other thing that's cool, I think, is Phoebe Cates' story. You know how she doesn't like Christmas, and then we come to find out is like her dad died coming down the chimney trying to surprise her, you know, for Christmas.
That's
and he got
just
stuck.
Like the wildest thing. Like because
wild.
You know when Billy first initiates, like, you know. The fact that he likes her and stuff, he's walking her home and she's like, just like, I don't like Christmas. Why does everyone give me shit if I say I don't like Thanksgiving or if I don't like this, that, or whatever, you know? Yeah. But if you say you don't like Christmas, everyone looks at you offbeat. And he kind of he lets it go. He's like, all right, you know, cool, whatever. But man, when she gets into that story, I'm like, man, someone actually had to think this shit up. That her dad went up and actually tried to climb down the chimney and was up in there for what, days? Yeah.
And then they started to smell. He was missing, and then they smelled a funny smell, and then they found. I was like,
and it just gets so grim when she's telling the story, and there's so much other shit going on. It's like, damn, that was just like another little kick in the shin.
And the funny thing about that scene is it's so chaotic at that point that's the mellow point. That's the
right.
You know, we're gonna give y'all a breather before.
A break from the mayhem. But listen to this fucked up ass story.
But it's great because like what I like, you know, just throughout, like all of that is there, man. Like I'm saying, like even Billy's parents seem to be going through some stuff. His dad is an inventor, which is why he's going in and out of town and even ends up in Chinatown. I guess he was on his way back from a trip to try to sell his gadgets, and even the mom, you know, there's that homemaker. Scene. Yeah, there's that scene where Billy comes on and is like, what's wrong? And she's like, no, this movie's sad. It's like, come on, Mom, what's wrong? And then she's like, yeah, Miss Dito called from the bank. And, you know, so you can tell they're even having, you know, financial troubles, you know.
And then even the dude that Billy works with at the bank takes a shot at him because, of course, when the dog attacks Miss Deagle, you know, Billy's at the bar later, and I guess it's his assistant manager. He's like, yeah, man, you know, you're already paying all the bills in your house for your parents and everything. You need to step up and get your own spot, kind of like turn your back on your parents, because he's actually, with him working at the bank, he's considered to be doing well in this town. You know what I mean? It's like, damn.
But he's he's a family guy, so he's you know,
help out.
But even that's kind of crazy too, because like Miss Dito's so evil. You realize how evil she is when we first meet her. She's walking down the street with this pumpkin. And I'm looking at this thing of snowman head. Yeah, and you're like, yo, what the hell is going on here? And you realize like she's so petty. She's like, I guess Billy's dog, you know,
knocked the snowman
over and broke it. And she tracked all the way down to his job with the snowman. You know what I'm saying?
With the head. This is all I have left. Of my snowman.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then she tells Billy's like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. She was like, no, you know, that's not going to work. I want your dog. Yeah. And I'm going to put him in my dryer.
I'm going to kill him.
I'm going to kill him. You know what I'm saying? She's evil. Like, she gets real Cruella DeVille for a brief second.
Like could have just knocked on his door, but no, went all the way to his job. Like, well, I guess she worked there too. But
how about this?
It was on the way into work. But still, it was still kind
of
You're the
only one that's well off in this town. Go buy another porcelain snowman. You got it to give.
She don't care, bro. She's evil, bro.
And you can also tell, like, later on, you find out she's like one of those like cat people. She's got boat ton of cats. So maybe that also, intensifies her hatred for the dogs.
Yeah. So I mean, I definitely would implore you to watch this because I mean we can't cover every detail of the plot, but basically, Billy gets this gift. He gets the rules, from the dad, and it is. I will say the thing that stands out to me a lot is the puppeteering and the makeup of these characters, man. Because it's like it's really great what they're doing here, including the vocal performances from Howie Mandel. But they've got Gizmo. He's a little guy, maybe like a foot tall.
Yeah,
and he's furry and so expressive. The ears,
he's
the
cute
eyes.
as fuck.
Yeah.
He's cute with the big ears, and I mean, it's like they move all different kind of ways and shit.
And singing and like what gets me is the expression of what they like. It's so expressive. They could do like there's moments where his face gets really worried at times. Like he's not very vocally. He could do simple stuff. He
like
could say
one word guy. Yeah, one
but
word
he's really.
guy.
It's other aspects of his character are so expressive, man. Like you can tell when he's having a good time. Like there, I was watching earlier the scene where it's just him and a dog, and he's watching a race movie, and he's like, he's driving the car. And I'm like, yo, that is so cool, man.
Or like when he's doing the little 3D, like looking at the 3D book with the glasses. He looks at Billy, he's like, yeah, neat.
It's cool, man. It's so cool. But then the rules get broken, man. The first one, my man Feldman comes over, and it's foreshadowing. It was like, yo, he's got like a glass of milk. I'm like, oh man, what is he doing with this milk, bro? Like he's getting too close to the mogwai. but then that's kind of a distraction because that's not even the one. That's kind of the thing because we're aware of the rules. Yeah, and we're like, man, get this fucking glass.
Get the water or get the liquid away from him.
Get the liquid away from him, and then he ends up knocking over another cup of liquid in the Gizmo.
It's the paintbrushes because Billy's a fucking artist. So it's the water shit. Paintbrushes in.
Then fucking bloop, 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 bloop. More gremlins just pop out. So that's why that rule. They multiply with the water.
And that's the thing, as well. Like to what you were with the things that stick out to you. One thing that sticks out to me about this is the imagination that they use all the way across the board. I mean, not just when it comes to the mogwais and then which transform into the gremlins and the whole process with the rules, but even think of the more simpler things like all of the dad's inventions. Like the house is full of all these broken inventions. And shout out to the mom because she was such a supportive wife because she allowed him to put these non-working things all through the house and tried to actually use them, and every one of them was faulty. You know what I mean? Dude. But I mean, like,
but the thing is, he only needed one to break through, man. That's what,
it. And I mean, he was working at it. He really liked that bathroom, buddy. But I mean, just like I just thought that that was like one of the coolest things that they took the time.
Here's another aspect of this. Like, I really want them to revisit this franchise and expand on this world because there's a moment where he calls back home. And I think he had went out of town like shortly after he gave Billy the mogwai. He had to go out of town to an inventors convention, and he's on the phone at the convention, and you see in the background all this crazy stuff going on. Dude, there was somebody that had Jules Verne's time machine in the back, and I'm like, was that like? Did that really work, or was something? Like,
here's the kicker, though. When they first show that shit, right? You see it, but then when it cuts back, and then it cuts back to him on the phone, the machine's gone. There's just smoke.
Dude, so that's killing me right now. Like, it's making me wonder, like the world that they set up. We already got Gremlins, so there's magic. But just imagine look right there. There's a scene. It's right.
And isn't that's like a coffee maker version of the thing from Lost in Space? But this one makes coffee or serves coffee.
But it's like, it makes you wonder. It's like, yo, it'd be crazy to explore this world where you've got things like that are really real. Like that was the time machine. That thing was real. And it wasn't like a replica. It actually did something. It disappeared.
Another thing about that scene that I really liked is you can tell like the dad felt humble. Like like the mom was like, yo, how's it going? He was like, man, there's a lot of cool stuff out here, a lot of competition. And he's like, damn, I don't know if my bathroom buddy can hold his rank against a damn time machine.
But it's almost like he went to a different kind of convention. Maybe he wanted to find the one that was more about the shit that he's working on. But instead, he ended up in this underground joint.
Science.
Just doing the real crazy shit.
Because all of his shit was like almost like home appliance style. So, he would want to go to like a Home Depot convention or a Bob Vila seminar.
I feel like this is probably where the person who made the Men in Black flashing joint, they probably was at that convention.
Damn right they were. Damn right they were.
Yeah, but anyway, we multiply, so that's the first rule broke. And it's crazy because it's a pack of them now. It's like 5 of them or 6 of them. I think
it's 6 total, including Gizmo. Because
Okay.
remember, Corey Feldman's like, at first he's like, yo, can I have one? And then after that shit happens, he's like, he counts them out. It's 5. He's like, now can I have one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's like, nah, man.
Nah. But the responsibility, it's crazy because the dad's already seeing dollar signs. It's like, yeah, every kid in America.
We call it the Paxton Pet?
Yeah.
Or whatever his name is.
Yeah, but it's like...
The Pulsar Pet.
That man undersold them in the store, dude. They definitely undersold it. But so anyway, things go on. It's chilling one night, but there's also a difference. These guys seem meaner, they're rougher and tougher, they're like little punks.
And they move in a pack.
To Gizmo.
They're pack movers, and they don't fuck with Gizmo. Like you can tell instantly, like that's why Gizmo was probably the only one for a long time, because he's the one that people ain't going out of their way to take out because I'm sure what happens in this town has happened before. That's why the store owner was reluctant to sell them in the first place.
Well, the crazy thing too is that they got a leader. The meanest one is Stripe. He's got a stripe of hair down his even in his normal mogwai gremlin form. So they're chilling, hanging out. And basically, we get to a scene where it's like it's about almost midnight, and they're going off
like 11:35.
And my man got a sandwich there, so they like, we want to eat it.
Yeah.
But then he's like, all right, man, it's about maybe 23 minutes to midnight. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna go get you guys a snack real quick. And he comes back and feeds them. The next morning,
and that's one of the grossest scenes. Like, who just has a big plate full of like uncovered chicken? They didn't have no saran wrap on. I was like, damn, that's fucked up. But yeah, then they're eating the chicken. It's like all this like slime and shit.
I love the effects on this, man.
Yeah, it's great.
When it gets gross, they get gross.
Yes,
man.
Yes, they do.
So he wakes up and there seem to be these little pods.
And those things look nasty as fuck.
They look nasty.
They look like something like out of like the film Aliens or something. Like the same
look
pods.
like alien eggs covered in boogers.
Oh my god, slime everywhere, and they're just big green nasty. Yeah, look like nasty buggers, man.
So clearly that has caused a change. But meanwhile, he had also took one of the. So I think it was 6 at first because he takes one to the scientists.
Yeah, it's the school science lab. Yeah.
So, and that one was normal. He was like Gizmo, but at the same time, the scientist was doing the scientist thing. Who's played by Glynn Turman, I want to point out, from Cooley High days.
But you know what? Maybe that one was kind of like more subdued because he was taken away from Stripe. You see what I'm saying? Like I think
he was alone. He was a little scared.
If you remove him from the leader and they're not in a pack.
It's just anymore. Like people in a way. You have a kid by himself, he's probably going to be cool. But you running in a pack, you're probably going to start doing more wilder stuff.
Yeah, set shit on there.
But I thought that was cool too, because then there's that kind of creepy element where he goes to draw blood from the thing, and this was the weird part to me. I couldn't figure it out. It looks like because the whole time most of this stuff has been battery's dead over. Most of this stuff has been looking like animatronics, but for some reason that scene when he sticks the needle in, it almost looks like that gremlin is being stop motion animated. The way his face is doing and the twitchiness of his movement. So that was interesting, but basically he's drawing blood from the mogwai. And he doesn't like it.
He gets pissed.
And he hates that. But so this guy's working late. At the same time, he's chilling. They do stop motion there, so they are using stop motion sometimes.
Definitely.
But so he pulls the sandwich off the scientist's lap after midnight.
It's like 2 something.
And so so then we cut back to Billy and them and the scientists. They looking at he's like,
they got another pod in the damn cage where the thing was. Billy wakes up and he's got all the pods in his room. He's like, what the fuck? But then that's also when he finds out that them little things they're mischievous as fuck. See, and beforehand, like. He goes out. He's like, "Where's the dog? The dog's like tied up with the fucking Christmas lights hanging outside and shit. Like he would have froze to death." And the dad's like, "Maybe," or Billy thinks maybe Miss Deagle did it. And dad's like, "Nah, I locked the door and there's no footprints." And then as they the whole shit with the time with him thinking it was before midnight, he picks up the damn wire and it's cut.
Yeah, they cut the clock wires because he wakes up and it's still 11:37. Like it's still. So they cut the clock to confuse him with the time. It's like they wanted to change.
They wanted it, but then that's the cool thing too, because it shows the wherefore of Gizmo. Like he don't want to be a gremlin. Like because when Billy tried to give him a piece of chicken too, he was like, "Oh, you hungry?" He was like, "Nah, man, I'm good." Like he knew it was after midnight.
You know what got me too is right after that when when Billy falls asleep, because Gizmo, he doesn't know about. I don't think Gizmo knows the time thing, but the look on Gizmo's face, it's just such worrying. It's just like I don't like this shit.
Like, and something cool too about that. You know how Gizmo, his facial expressions keep changing. What they did, they had a bunch of like little Gizmo faces that were just sticky, and they would just pull off the sticker, put the new one on. They had to do it real swift and quick.
They're doing too much with the so fast. Like you kind of do it. It's the same trick they use with stop motion. They'll have so many different heads, and they'll use them to kind of shortcut, expressions and stuff. So that way they can just focus on animating the body.
Yeah.
But anyway, apparently, the ones in the house. It's kind of two things going on at the same time, because I think is it the mom first or the scientist?
No, the scientist.
So the scientist.
They're at the scientist, and then like Feldman's there and Dude is there, and then he starts going into the whole, this is the cocoon phase, it's metamorphosing, and something's growing in there.
But I'm talking about when they hatch.
When they hatch.
Hatch first or the scientist?
We see the scientist one hatch first. So but then at the same time it's happening at the house, but we deal with the scientist first, because he goes and gets the candy bar and shit.
And the scientist is all hype. He calls Billy. He's like, "Yo, it's
going down."
Like, you don't know what the fuck it is. I mean, we're used to butterflies coming out of cocoons, but I don't know what this dude was thinking was going to come out of that,
because of how it looked before. But it's like, dude, when you look at the damn egg, the egg does not look like something furry and nice is going to come out of it. I mean,
man, it's such a crazy deep change to me, because we get this 1 foot tall, cute thing, furry thing.
Yeah.
Suddenly, this thing is like twice as big,
almost like a 3-footer,
almost a 3-footer,
yeah.
Scaly. Reptilian,
looks like a reptile,
cold, with a mouthful of gnarly teeth.
The only thing that I really appreciate this too, because you can still tell that it came from the mogwai descent because of the big ears. Everything else looks completely different, but the ears are what kind of like, okay, they must be cousins.
Yeah, man. And the scientist, he gets it, bro. They take him, which is kind of fucked up, because the black man dies first, but. But then the mom, she's like, "Yo, these things hatch, yo." She calls Billy, so because he's running.
That's another nasty ass scene when you see the eggs popping over there, like just all this. You see the hands slowly coming out, all the slime.
Because this thing, it's for the most part, has been kind of. I think this thing got away with a PG rating, dude.
You know what? I was just about to say too. It's funny that we said this. This is the film that brought forth the PG-13 rating, because up until this point they were like, they said there has to be something in between PG and R, because this one is not. It's more than PG, but definitely not rated R.
I think it did get a PG though.
It did at first, but then the censorship board or whatever. This is the film that spawned the PG-13 rating.
Yeah, I was definitely not 13 when I saw this.
I was not either.
Give us a quick story on that. I saw this the night it premiered, yo, and I remember this was June 8th. We looked it up, and that was a Friday. June 8th is also my mom's birthday, but my mom didn't take me. I figured it out. She was probably going out that night because her friend took us. Her friend probably, agreed to babysit so she could go get a party on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was crazy. I think also there was a poster for Sheena at that theater when we remember that crazy whack ass. Tanya Roberts.
Yep. This was definitely one of the ones that we rented from Errol's, which to those that don't know, Errol's was what was a video store, the local video store chain before Blockbusters.
So this is the thing that I noticed on my rewatch. The mom, it was a crazy scene, dude, because the Gremlins are in the house, and it's like 5 of them. And dude,
she's in there by herself.
She don't
call nobody. She don't ask for no help.
After she calls Billy and hangs with the phone, she's hearing strange noises. So she goes down.
And the thing plays a Christmas song. Yet again, another indicator this is a Christmas movie.
I forgot what song
do
it
you
is.
Do you see what I see?
Yeah, it's crazy because she's going down there and she sees these things.
That shit.
And she's like, what the fuck? And she's immediately on the offensive. She's not playing around like that.
Right out the gate.
They haven't even tried to attack her or nothing yet. But that first one tips him in the blender. Boom. And then the other one, she straight stabs him in the sink. I was like, yo,
the one that was stealing the gingerbread cookies. Because remember, like she walks by, he got that shit on, and he looks up, he's like, whatever.
And then she kicks another one into the microwave and
that
turns it on.
That scene was so cool. Like when you see the thing exploding through the window and he's just like, Because I mean, up until that point, when I first saw this, I never saw anything get microwaved before that wasn't food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I never had a microwave back then. It took me a while to run into.
I'm trying to remember. I know we ended up having one, later on. Like we used to have to heat our TV dinners up in the oven,
bro.
Oh yeah, see, I didn't see this film until definitely after 88, 89.
Yeah. So it was crazy, man. So then she takes them out, and I guess the last two give her a problem. Billy comes in right in time and kills the one, but then the leader, Stripe, jumps out the window and Billy runs after him. They're pursuing, but what ends up happening, Stripe ducks out into this YMCA building and they got a pool. And it was so funny too, the way he jumps into that pool.
Cannonballs.
It's almost like he looks at him and he smiles.
He's
and
like, it's about to go down, motherfucker. And then they start playing this weird songs like wow, wow, and all these lights. And then you just imagine, dude, like if you when Gizmo got a sprinkle of water on him, 5 of them popped out. So then you think this motherfucker's in the pool. So everyone that pops out is gonna then more are gonna pop out. I mean, dude. The whole pool must have been throwing those things up in 20 minutes, man.
It was amazing, man.
Yeah.
So, look at him. Look at Gus. Good young Gus, dude.
Oh, wow. He looks so different with hair.
Yeah. But that's that same face. But it's so funny, man. So basically, now there's hundreds of these things, and they just start taking over the town.
Man.
And I think this is where it kind of shines because I feel like it turned to horror mode once those the mom scene and the scientist scene, But then it's still kind of funny because they're doing dangerous stuff, but it's still in that mischievous, they're happy as they're doing it. It's not like they're being savage, even though they look scary. But at the same, they're like, hey.
But it's almost like they're pranksters. Yeah. Like they're not going out there just killing people. They're not like okay, for instance, like Critters, a film that was heavily inspired by this film, right? So the Critters, they just go out and they just go kill people. They just want to eat you up. These ones, I mean, they're out here messing with the traffic lights and shit.
They're cutting people brake cables just now. And then you see Corey Feldman shooting out the window, shooting a slingshot at him. And then one dude is hanging from the Christmas.
And then it's for them when they come up to Miss Deagle's house, man, I love this. I know I shouldn't laugh at this shit, but they antagonize her first. Like they knock on the door and they come up as Christmas carolers. They're all dressed up like Christmas carolers. And then one of them, while she's distracted, is fucking with her little stair chair, man, and she gets in that jump. And it's like a roller coaster shot. And slingshots are right up the stairs.
Straight out the window.
And then you get this, it shows outside of the house, and it just looks like the house just spits her out of the top window.
Yeah, man. It's great, dude. Damn, you know what's wild about this movie? So Billy's car is the same car that the babysitter who took us to the movies was driving. Yeah, the same Volkswagen Beetle, dude. That same kind of joint. It was crazy. Wow. So that's wild, the things that are lining up. But yeah, that's probably one of the funnest moments, man. Once they start going through the town, causing chaos, and Billy's still trying to convince the authorities that something's going on.
And he has a fucking mogwai. He shows them Gizmo. Mm-hmm. I mean, everyone's looking at him like he's a dog. Like no one's ever seen this little thing before, and they're all just no one's like, well, where the fuck did you get that from?
Yeah.
It's like, you're like, oh, he's so cute. Look at him.
It's so
where
crazy,
can I get
man.
one for myself?
So and now I guess the authorities, they start getting alarmed because now they're starting to get calls because these things are everywhere, man. And it's one of my favorite moments, just that whole sequence of them, dude, tearing up the town and stuff, man.
And not for nothing, this part leads into my favorite scene of the film is when they're in the bar. That's when we are exposed to all of the personalities that these gremlins have. You got the one swinging on the fan. You got the one, they're playing poker and shit. You got the one who's like the streaker guy, and then it's hilarious because when Phoebe's trying to, or Kate is her name in the movie, Phoebe Cates, but when she's trying to escape, she starts flashing them all with the camera.
Because it does mess them up.
It runs out of film, and then one comes out the cut, and he's got the robber mask and a gun and shit.
Oh my God. What's so crazy to me is that she's actually serving them. It's so outrageous. It's so ridiculous that she would even entertain that. The film definitely is having fun with this.
Absolutely.
It gets nutty. but that's another thing I want to speak on the Gremlins, man. It's so bugged out to me that there's no expert. These are newly born. They've barely been on Earth an hour, but they've already got all this pop culture references built into them.
Yes.
Almost like it's in their DNA. Like they already can speak a little bit without being exposed much. They're drinking. They're wearing clothes or smoking cigarettes. Like, where's that come from? Is that just part of their makeup? I don't know, man. Like that's why.
Like the streamer, he's got the sunglasses on. And she looks at him. He's like, ah, like. Where'd you learn that?
It's so crazy to me, dude. Like that would be something that I think would be cool to explore in another, maybe a series or a movie. But I think we do have a series announced coming from Marvel. So I think somehow they've got the rights to these characters now. So I think it's going to be an animated Gremlin series.
That's dope.
So maybe we can get more expansion on the lore and the mythology of it. And it makes me also want to explore, like, here's the weird thing right there. So you see how, I don't know, is it just water? Because
that was beer.
But his ear just gotten a beer.
I think it's just
so
water.
Only water is what makes it multiply. That's wild, dude. But beer is how much percent water? What are the rules?
Yeah. So and that's the thing too. Like we get exposed to the first. We see that the first rule, the water makes them multiply. Eating after midnight makes them metamorphosize into the gremlins. But they say the third one is no sunlight. Sunlight kills them. But we never really see what happens. Like, you know what I'm saying? We never. I hate to say it like this, but one of the gremlins, I would like to see it get hit up by the sun. And I think we do in the second one.
Well, we kind of do in this one. I mean, isn't that what? Well, isn't that what ultimately?
Ultimately, yes. But
I'm trying to think, yo.
That's what ultimately, because after because we move forward from this scene, and then we get the famous movie theater scene where they all start, like, they're all watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and shit. Yeah. Start singing Hi Ho and everything.
Yeah. So, but after this, I think after he gets Phoebe out of the bar, or after I think Billy picks her up. And
that's when
we get the Christmas story about her dad, which is like, yo, this joint is cutting up with the Flashdance parody.
Oh, I love the song in the back. Oh, speaking of the song, I love the score. Like when it shows Gizmo, it's that little like softer kind of music. But once the fucking Gremlins come and you get ding, 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 it sounds mischievous. You know what I'm saying? I think they did a great job with the music that they're playing as well.
Yeah. So So then after that goes down, and for some reason they all end up in the movie theater. Pretty much most of the Gremlins, and it looks like they're watching Seven Dwarfs, Snow White, and the Seven Dwarfs. Well, no, I had that no more in the background, but they're watching that, and I guess they decide to blow up the theater.
No, well, that's what it is like while they're distracted with the movie, Billy and Kate go in there, and then they set the movie theater on fire, then which leads to it blowing up. Yeah. And the only reason why Stripe wasn't part, because it shows them trying to get out. They barricade the doors up and shit, and then that motherfucker explodes. But Stripe was making a snack run at the convenience store across the street, because it shows him he's in the window and he's got a Twizzler hanging out of his mouth, and he's got a bunch of candy and shit. And he's like, oh fuck!
And he kind of sees the thing
it blow up, and then they see him in the window, and they're like, man, this motherfucker is about, if he finds another pool, he's gonna do this shit all over again. So they have to get Stripe out the way, and then they go into the I think
it's like the mall or something where
it's like a surplus. It's like one of those stores like that has a little bit of everything.
They're like a department store.
There we go. Yeah.
So it'd be like a Sears or something like that.
Because remember, I mean, they definitely had like
there's like lawn and garden and lawn toys.
But then there is a part where Stripe gets a chainsaw and Billy has a baseball bat.
Yeah, dude, they going to war.
They're battling and shit.
Yeah, it's cool because I think this Gizmo had a little car too.
Yes, he's in on it. He gets all Rambo. He puts his little Rambo thing on. Makes a bow and arrow out of like paper clip and fucking rubber band.
They try to get the Stripe, man. It's dope, dude. I forgot how they finally get him, because
Gizmo's driving the pink car, and then he goes off into the ramp, and I want to say that's where he hits the window, because Stripe is trying to jump into like the little water fountain thing, and Gizmo hits the window, and that's when the sunlight comes in, and blows him up. I want to say that's how it happens. So
because we definitely get that, and that's the part that messed me up as a kid. Because I think Billy walks over, after Stripe gets hit with the sunlight, and like the sunlight's basically killing him. It's like vampire shit. They melt him.
Yeah.
But then last minute he gets too close,
and then straight like the skull, like
he's all fucked up, and then he melts. Dude, that fucked me up so bad when I was a kid. That's why this joint is harder than PG, man.
Yes.
Like they suck you in with the cuteness, but then you know, when you see it's too much. It was too much for my young brain. Even though now, like even after that, after I saw it, like it's one of those things where, yeah, it was scary, but after you see it, you can watch it again, and because you already been through it, and there's no gremlins. Even though I was young, it was still one of them things where like it was so much fun just watching them, that like especially the sequences that right up before that, the bar and all the movie theater shenanigans and the characters being crazy.
You know, another funny thing too is like after this film had a very high success rate. I want to say, I don't know what they spent for it, but box office in '84 it did 212.9 million.
That was probably one of the biggest films of the year.
You know what I'm saying?
I forgot what else came out in '84, but
so dude, I want to say was it Indiana Jones? Because I know Spielberg was doing both of them, but because of the success of this film, you know, of course, like the after film marketing was in full effect. They were making little gizmo. Everybody wanted a little gizmo doll, but it was funny because the dude was like, they were also making like life-size gremlin, actual gremlin stuffed animals. And he was like, yo, this just showed to like a testament of the time, because people were buying these things and then putting it in their like baby crib, like their infant, like here, you play with this doll, and like it still fucking looks scary.
So top for '84, it was Ghostbusters, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and then Gremlins, and then Karate Kid.
And that is 4 dope ass films. That all those films right there, those all scream the 80s.
Number 5 was Police Academy.
Great.
It was a crazy year, dog.
Footloose.
Beverly Hills Cop 3,
yeah, man.
Star Trek 3, Search for Spock, Terms of Endearment, Romancing the Stone.
That's another dope one, yes.
Splash, Purple Rain, Tightrope, The Natural, Greystoke, Legend of Tarzan, Revenge of the Nerds, Breaking, Bachelor Party, Red Dawn, All of Me, The Terminator, Friday the 13th, Final Chapter, Conan Destroyed. It was a crazy year for Hollywood.
Just think of how many films we're ringing off that we're still going to do on this show, dude.
They were doing,
oh my gosh,
they did crazy in '84, dude. That's wild, man.
Damn.
Yeah. But it comes to the conclusion, man. And like I said, man, I mean, it ends up with you know, after everything's burnt down. How did he track them down the same night?
Dad.
Yeah, the guy from the Chinatown shop.
Yeah,
he shows up to take Gizmo back.
Yeah, because then that's when you finally hear Gizmo talk.
Yeah.
Bye, baby.
Yeah, he's like, you're not ready. And they're like, bro, he was never ready from the start. But how did he track him down though? Like he probably just
followed the fire. I mean,
maybe he left the card though from because the dad did try to sell him an ashtray or something.
No, he was selling them the damn bathroom buddy.
Oh yeah.
Because remember he squirted himself with the shaving cream.
So I guess Gizmo goes back home. I totally forgot the plot to part 2. I definitely saw that in the
Gizmo
theater.
is definitely back with Billy. So at some point, you know, Billy tracked that old man down, or just
maybe the old man died and
got with the grandson. He's like, look, I know your self. Fuck, you want that bread?
Yeah. Maybe you just realized, you know, this shit happened because it wasn't Gizmo's fault.
It definitely wasn't.
It wasn't Billy's fault. It was Corey Feldman's fault, man.
He was definitely the one who lit the fuse.
Because I feel like if it was just Gizmo, he was handleable. And Gizmo knew what the danger was himself. It seemed like, you know, he knew what the potential was for disaster and all of this. So. But yeah, I mean, this is a classic, bro. This is one of my favorite Christmas movies. I definitely watch it every year around this time.
Yep.
And I just ended up because I got it on physical media. I got a couple Blu-ray copies, but I bought it on the Voodoo last night. I got the double pack with you know, they had a bundle and save, so I got part 1 and 2 together. So I'm gonna try to watch part 2 again. A lot of people say that it was, you know, it's a better. You know, one of those sequels is better than the original, but I don't know. I didn't think so. I don't think so at the time when I watched it, and like I remember watching it and thinking like, yeah, it happened.
I don't think it was better than the original, but the one thing that I thought was really cool is they expand on the Gremlins. That was the one.
Just more Gremlins.
There was
chaos.
There was Gremlins with wings. There was the spider Gremlin. There was
a Gremlin reporter, wasn't it? Yeah, like a Gremlin on the news, like giving the news.
Yes, it was. Yes, the Gremlin reporter. Then we got our first female Gremlin, because that one was all over Billy. you know, and then you had like the one with the crazy eyes. I mean, they really enhanced and expanded the personality of the Gremlins, which that was cool in its own right. But yet again, I think one of the things that stands out about this one, to your point, is that it's also a holiday movie. You know what I'm saying? The other one was just like a Gremlins movie. It just took place on an alias
like a
day,
random day
in the city. You know what I mean? Because for some reason, Billy has a bad habit of bringing his pets to fucking work. First he's bringing the dog to work in this one. Now you're bringing Gizmo to work in the other one. It's like, dog, what? Do you not know how to like crate train or let your damn animal stay at the house? Well, he's self-sufficient. Give him a couple movies to watch. Come on, Billy.
So you get up and off the couch, give him a little step thing. You know?
Just be an at-home dad, dog, because you can't keep bringing everything to work with you.
Yeah, man. But this is a great film, man. I love it, man. It's definitely classic. It holds up. All the charm of it and the dread is there, man. It's just, and it's great just to watch how it plays out, man. Like especially I mentioned earlier the puppeteering with the Gremlins. They're just so like they feel like they're there, man. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a great thing for them to have been able to pull off back then. What was the budget on this thing?
That's what I'm sure they made it hand over fist, bro. Like,
but it's still, so they spent 11 million and they got over 200 million back, which is crazy. So
that's a flip.
Dude,
I mean, I don't see how anyone could be unsatisfied with that.
So it said it was more expensive than Spielberg had originally intended, but still relatively cheap for its time. Like, think about it. The same year we get well, not the same year. Let me see.
What's it, like a film like Terminator? They had to spend more money to make Terminator, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, Terminator was a smaller scope of. All right, so this came out in '84. So 2 years later, they made Aliens in 1986 on a $18 million budget. So it's like you just look at the scope of the film.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, for what they were doing with Aliens, and that only cost them like $7 more million.
Yeah,
over the Gremlins budget, man.
Right,
it's crazy, right, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, I think that's it, man. I don't really got much more to say about this other than to go see it, man. It's just a great film, man.
And like I said, it hits heavier around the holidays. I definitely watch it during the holidays, but this shit's still fun in the summer too.
Yeah,
I mean, just think about it. I mean, it came out in the summer, for crying out loud.
Yeah, which is weird, though. I think they could have, but then you got to look at the release schedule, but also. We already talked about that 84 box office, which was crazy, probably crazy trying to figure out where you're going to fit your film in. But I still probably would have put this out at Christmas.
And also, you got to think this was at a time too when if a movie that was coming out in relation to the holidays, if it kind of had like a negative or just wasn't like what the world was used to seeing, it kind of got shunned upon. Like, I mean, think of like Silent Night, Deadly Night, or things like that. They're like, no. In the summer, people are like, all right, but we can't use this.
But I also think summertime though, you've got a lot of what this target audience would be, which probably be like teenagers, and they're not in school, so they can probably get more showings, which might explain why summertime box office usually does a lot, goes crazy, goes gangbusters, man.
And yet again, the rating it was rated so that anyone could go see it. You don't need to have a parent there with you.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, yeah, I think that's it, man. We're gonna wrap this up. I don't know what our next movie is gonna be. We don't even know yet, do we?
It might be something.
Oh no! I think we got another Christmas one.
Yeah, we're gonna still try and hit the Christmas theme.
Just think about a tower, named after a Japanese company. And Eddie Winslow's pops. So I think we know what we're gonna do. If you're a little bit savvy, you know what the next one's gonna be.
Exactly.
We're gonna keep with this Christmas theme. But yeah, that's it, man. It's been Monk. You can catch me at where I be at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram. You can that's it. Twitter, Instagram, and that's what I usually say, right?
Pretty much. I think that it feels like you're missing one, but you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I only got one, so it's easy for me. You know what I'm saying?
And follow us at From Canopy on Twitter and at From the Canopy on Instagram, and you can email us FromTheCanopyPod@gmail.com.
There we go. That's the whole spiel. And mine is I'm Bobby Blockbuster, and mine is Bobby Blockbuster 118 on Instagram.
Yeah, that's what's up, folks. We'll catch y'all next time. It's been another Classics of Cinematics. Peace.